reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're listening to Guild Wars Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter, and by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon at doghousesystems.com. Welcome to Guild Wars Reporter. This is our annual prediction, but it's going to be more of a year in review, actual final episode of the show.
Formerly the holiday episode, but since we're recording it in the new year, it's the post-holiday show.
It is. It is, because things got crazy.
Who knew? Who knew that would happen?
Who knew, right?
It's a surprise every year.
Yes. So I am Celeste. Obviously, I'm joined by Allona.
No additional descriptors needed.
Nope. Not today.
Nope. Or, we are Salona.
Over last year's predictions. Allona, you had a few things correct.
Yes. Not to go into too much bragging here, but I think I had the most correct predictions. By one. So, I correctly predicted that there wouldn't be an expansion announcement this year, since we still have hot content incoming as well as Season 3. Not a sexy prediction, but it was accurate.
Very.
And I predicted that we'd see a baby dragon, and we saw a baby dragon.
This is true.
At the time, though, we weren't really sure how long they were going to drag that out, so we didn't know necessarily. It's kind of, sometimes when you're looking back on it, something seemed like, well, of course.
Right. Hindsight, but
yeah.
It definitely was not something that was obvious, considering you were the only one that actually even predicted it.
Yeah, so technically correct. Now, the one, I gotta say, Celeste, I am the most proud of this one. I'm hella proud of this one.
Understandably so.
I put in the show notes. I do think they will lay the groundwork for the next expansion, though, and wonder if we could face two dragons at once, ones from opposing sides of the spectrum. Arms raised in success.
Absolutely.
I'm so pleased.
That one is a home run.
Yes, got my yeah, go me. Arms up in the air, fists clenched to each other.
Yes.
I did actually continue that and said, stave off the imbalance caused by defeating a single dragon and having its power siphoned to its opposite by removing two at a time, which I think we've proven that isn't necessarily...
No, but that certainly is one of the motivations, because we're seeing that cross-pollination of magic.
Yes. Did they say actually that two are awakening at once because of the sheer volume of magic?
I think that was something, yeah.
Holy crap, was I proud of this one. Actually, no, Hunter got 3. So, we tied.
Like half of them.
Like, half of 2 of them are correct.
Well, half of mine was
because
correct
he
for those.
expounded quite a bit.
That's true. Hunter thinks we'll get an update on what's coming for the year in January or February, and we did.
Yep.
It wasn't at PAX South, though.
Yeah, not at PAX South.
No. And we haven't seen that for this year yet. I wonder...
I'm sure it's upcoming.
Are they at PAX South? Do we know?
I don't think they are.
Okay, we're going into predictions for next year, which we're not technically doing, but I think they're going to be at PAX East.
It makes more sense for them to be at West, but I understand what you're saying.
Well, I think they'll be at Prime, too. I think PAX Prime and PAX East, but I think there's something going to be going on at PAX East.
I think it's called West now, not Prime.
You correct. I don't know why I said it that way. Hunter also predicted Super Adventure Box will return in April. We've seen hints from that shaman showing off bits and pieces of newly designed stuff for SAB, so it's not a big surprise to those that follow the data mine stuff. Pretty great that they finally decided to return to something that just about absolutely everyone wanted and ended up demanding with SAB or Riot. And yeah, this is again one of those other ones where in hindsight, well, duh. But at the time, no one really knew.
Yeah, nobody really knew, and I think we were all just really happy that it had come back and that it's going to continue to come back every year.
Yeah.
That it's become a yearly event, I think is just perfect. Makes more sense than anything else.
And honestly, the argument that it wasn't part of the aesthetic of the game, so they didn't want to use it, I mean, it's meh. I gotta find that. Like, so what? There's lots of things that don't jive with, like, legendary llama minis. Like, come on. While awesome, do not jive with the game.
There's now bows that shoot unicorns and tigers.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's completely, like, that's definitely not Tyria.
Well, considering there are no horses or unicorns. Where'd those come from? We're going to give Hunter a few points, or at least partial points, for he predicted Kralkatork or Jormag next, and Jormag does look like one of the dragons we're going to be seeing. I'm not sure about this whole Kralkatork thing, though, because there definitely seems like they were kind of going in that direction, and then they kind of, did a big sidestep over to Primordus and Jormag.
Yeah.
Like, could we see 3? Like, we talked about that on one episode, didn't we?
I think so. Yeah, no, we had been talking about Kralkatork and how it would logically work to head that direction because we would, but then we didn't think that it was going to end up with us going towards the north, towards Janthir in the first place.
No, which, I don't know.
I'm super excited.
I still feel like they want to get out from under the dragon storylines entirely, and they're just like, let's get them all. Let's get this out of here. We don't want to talk about him anymore. We want to forge all new ground, completely separate from the dragons. So I would not be surprised if Kralkatork was next or added, to be perfectly honest.
It's entirely a possibility.
Yeah. Then you want to take the other one that we believe Hunter, we gave him points for?
Yes, we gave Hunter points for. I think Living Story Season 3 will start in mid to late summer or early fall. Pretty big range.
Sometime in 2016.
It will likely function as an epilogue for Heart of Thorns in the beginning, and then begin the prologue for whichever dragon Arena chooses to smoosh us against.
Or dragons. I'm adding that part.
Exactly. So yeah. I mean, kind of halfway there. He adds a whole bunch of stuff that he's completely wrong about.
But we all do that.
We all do that.
We're only reading the parts that we got right.
Yes, because some of my predictions are absolutely absurd.
You really go for it, though. Kudos for not holding back with the wow.
Yeah, you go back and read this like a year later and you're like, okay. You do you.
Actually, we weren't going to talk about the things we had wrong, but there were some that I obviously put in just for funsies.
Of course.
Like, we'll finally meet E. Like, that was just like, I honestly did not think that would happen in any way, shape, or form. And my World versus World one.
Oh, yes.
I'm not entirely wrong. Really, now that I'm looking at it. The second part's totally wrong. That homeworld servers will no longer be necessary and be dissolved. However, we do have alliances.
We do have alliances now. So you're kind of half right.
So I said WoW is going to be more guild versus guild focused with alliances. The guild versus guild part is completely wrong. But they did ally worlds together for some of the smaller server population ones. So, I also predicted that Hunter and I would argue about mounts repeatedly. That happened in and out of the show. That wasn't so much a prediction as a statement of fact. So, Celeste, what about your crazy predictions? Which ones did you get right?
I got very few correct. For example...
I wish you had been right about the fractals, though.
I really wish that there had been more fractals.
They did add new ones, so...
But they aren't legacy.
No.
They're not historical fractals.
No.
Really. So it doesn't quite fit. I did predict that Primordius would be cool, but I'm only kind of half right, and we're totally not doing what I thought we'd be doing if we were going to be fighting Primordius in the first place, so... 50-50 on that one.
Yep. You also didn't think that gliding would be added anywhere else.
Did I actually say that?
Well, I also think this doesn't add any new maps and wouldn't really bring the gliding from Hot because it's so...
Yeah. That's why it wouldn't work to do Primordius, because there's no gliding underground. Which, we were in the Ring of Fire Islands, and we did actually kind of glide underground through the lava flow. So, I was just completely wrong. I also predicted the return of Super Adventure Box, but I didn't think it would be great to come back as a return joke. A repeating joke.
And was that it for April 1st this year? I can't recall.
I believe it was.
I hope it's not the standing April 1st thing, because...
That would get boring.
Well, the whole point of April 1st, it's not predictable.
Yeah.
Although, okay, segue. My grandmother would always call on April 1st and say, I see a cow in the middle of the road. You should look out and see that. And that was her April Fool's joke every year.
That's pretty amazing.
Now, she's passed away, but now on April 1st, myself or my sister will always post on Facebook, I saw a cow in the middle of the road today.
Aww.
Yeah, so I mean, boring and predictable can transition into... Tradition and heartwarming? That's not quite the word I'm looking for, but but not in this case.
Right.
Not in the case of Super Adventure Box. I hope it's something new this year. I mean, I hope it comes back, but it's not the April 1st thing.
Yeah, I'd rather have the actual jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's more fun.
Mm-hmm.
I also predicted there would be no mounts. I'm sticking to that, and I'm absolutely correct. Let's move along to the community predictions.
Okay, we had some really great community predictions. You guys, the ones who got it right were,
really right.
On point here.
Irish Dog / Blaze had brought in some way we are going to interact with the White Mantle more. It's a part of GW2 I wish we had a little more of than just a personal story or a couple of zones. It could be tied to raids, most definitely will be, Living World, or meta events in future map, which I guess it kind of is, because you have to kill certain White Mantle folks in Bloodstone Fen, huh?
Yep. Yeah, I think that whole point.
That works.
And from Headburrow Ant Farm, kudos, my friend. They said, gliding to come to core Tyria. They said at least in part. I guess it's in part in the sense that instances and...
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere but instances. And World versus World.
And puzzles. And World versus World.
And PvP.
Yeah. And PvP.
But open world PvE, it's everywhere.
Pretty much.
And, okay, except for around jumping puzzles. Except for those jumping puzzles you wish it was shut off for, but it's not.
Yes, indeed.
And you glide off the point you need to get to.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's go ahead and do an honorable mention for the Casual Heroes Guild, who said, I'm going to say we get an announcement for an expansion in early 2017. So, that could still be happening.
Unless you read it that there's going to be an expansion for
Oh.
Early 2017. I can't decide which way this goes. This is a really cleverly worded
Yeah.
prediction.
Could be either.
Because are you predicting that in early 2017 there's going to be an announcement for an expansion? Or there's an announcement for an expansion that will arrive in early 2017 and be a live game? It could go either way.
Clever.
I'm going to say, let's give it to them that they say that there's going to be an announcement for an expansion.
In 2017.
In early 2017.
Yes. And that's a future prediction because it hasn't happened yet because it's only the 2nd.
Yeah. But we'll find out. We will.
We will.
Calabajui actually predicted cat weapons.
Right on target.
Right on target because, so if you're relatively new to this ending show, Clouded Chimera was guesting on the show for our Surviving the Mist section, and he predicted that a Black Lion skin would come into the game, a series of skins for cat weapons. He said, make it happen, ArenaNet. So this prediction is an homage to that show, but then they did announce Chuka and Chompawat that is a cat weapon that shoots cats.
Yep.
Out of itself. Like, you don't, well, I guess theoretically you could shoot tigers.
You could shoot cats with
it.
the cat weapon. True.
But, yeah, cat projectiles come out of Chuka and Chompawat, and I don't know. I would legit like to know whether this happened because Cloud had suggested that, or if it was already in development. I think
it may have already been in the works.
I would love to know this. Anyway, so we're giving it to Calla because they did introduce a cat weapon.
Indeed. Polar Buzzaroo said 2016 will bring us lots of QQ on Reddit and co. That's definitely something that has happened.
You might as well say Hunter and Alona going to argue about things, because
yeah.
it's
a gimme.
It's a gimme. Niana SLC also predicted that Glint's egg would hatch. Fist bump, Niana, we got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop, whoop. And I don't know why I did that.
Christian Squire predicted that the Veil Guardian's Great Circle mechanic or distortion will get changed to avoid an 8 Warrior 2 Chrono raid meta. It has changed, and you don't want to be 8 Warrior 2 Chrono anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily for those reasons.
Partly, if I'm remembering how things work in raids, partly, but neither of us really can speak to that one firmly, but it seems like there was, well, much like Jonathan Andritz said, Raid Wing 1 nerfs to match Jack Garrett, and part of me is thinking that did happen a little, but I can't, we're giving those ones partials because we don't 100% understand.
That seems like the most amazing way to
say that
bring
we don't
the show full circle.
So because we don't know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Actually, no, I need to end it on the fact that I predicted there was going to be 2 dragons at once. I need this, Celeste. You don't know how badly I need this.
Go ahead and move along to our year in review. So, what do we actually remember doing this year, Allona?
All the things.
Remember things?
All the things. I tried to keep it pretty high level because obviously I do play the game a fair. I'm hardcore casual, I would say.
Yeah.
I do play a fair amount. I don't really pay attention to what I'm doing half the time. I did make 2 legendaries. I give this one a bit of a sorta because I finished Chuka and Chompawat yesterday, which was January 1st, so it technically didn't go into 2016. Yeah. But I also finished Astralaria. And, you know what? I did Immobilis. I'm pretty sure that was this year.
Yes.
You know, for being an exotic weapon, it took a lot of time and effort. Oh, and then I did the other one, although it was far more simple. What's it called now? The one that you get with sun beads. It's another Mystic Forge weapon.
Oh.
The staff. I can't think of the name right now. It's very pretty. I like it. I use it on a lot of my characters. that I
But we
can't
don't
think of the
remember
name of right now. I finished Winter's Presents this year, so started last year. Thankfully, I got everything done other than the Festive Imbiber, or is that what it's called? Festive Imbiber?
Yes.
And I had less than 5,000 drinks done last year. I think I was at about 4,000, 3,000 or 4,000. So I had to do a bunch this year. I did get some donations and it was really nice to get those, like super thankful. I did the bulk of them on my own, obviously. And so I put it on my Norn male revenant. So he's ginormous with snowflakes.
Yes.
Because why wouldn't you?
Of course.
I tried raiding this year, which I honestly did not think I would ever do that. I didn't think it was anything I'd ever get to try. And I did it a few times with the Relics crew, and Mock made a raid team with friends of Mock as well as Mockeries. And it's been on hold for a couple months just because timing and people have been unavailable. It's hard to get 10 people together at a specific time.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say. But we had a couple successes. We did get progress. It was fun. And because of this, I actually used Meta Battle and kitted out a Daredevil specifically with a raid build. Spent that time and effort. And I have to say, I really love this build. Partly the reason I made Chuka and Jumpawat was to put the short bow on, because I like running staff short bow for this build, and I quite enjoy it. I think I'm going to be playing my Thief a lot more. And finally, on the sad note, I had my soul crushed by Rendak repeatedly.
Oh, God. A lot.
A lot. Hunter and I go in. There was a bit of a break there, I think more for my psyche. but we've been doing it the last few nights, and not successfully, mind you, but trying. I'm sure I'm forgetting things. Most of these things are towards the end of the year, because obviously
right.
I'm remembering that way. One of the things actually I did this year is I looked after the bulk of looking after the show, which is normally what you would do, but you had a mat leave. So what did you do this year, Celeste?
Well, I also had my soul crushed by Rendak. I just remembered that I had done that earlier in the year.
That was a segue for having a baby.
Well, okay, yes, I had a baby, but that's not part of the show.
It kind of is.
Not really.
You can hear her in the background sometimes.
Sometimes, but,
She's
most of the time,
singer.
not. I finally got world completion on my Elementalist. My second character to get world completion.
Woot.
I mean, the first one you go, oh god, yes, finally. But the second one you're like, finally, I got something else done. Yay!
Yay!
I have a decent AR in my Mesmer, which actually, that took me probably like 3 or 4 months of playing on and off to get it up to where it is.
What are you at?
55.
It's pretty good. We'll get it higher.
Someday.
I'm making, planning fingers.
I figured as much. I actually finished my Ascended Spinal Blades this year. I thought it was last year, and then I was looking through my Twitter, and I saw the picture, and I was like, oh gosh, that was this year.
Well, because you made the blue ones, right?
I made the blue ones with the help of Jawa. Yeah.
I'm super jealous.
I am a very special snowflake.
Yes. I have the green ones because they were cheap.
I don't see people wearing them anymore anyways. There's so many...
Actually, I find that with a lot... It seems like you see skins cycle out, so it's always the most current ones you see. So I'm wondering if there's going to be hipsters in-game. They use the older things because no one's doing it anymore.
Like the holographic dragon wings.
I almost put those on a character yesterday. For that reason. Gosh, I'm a hipster sometimes. Yeah, I specifically went, you know what? These don't get used enough. Maybe I'll use these.
Yep. And I actually almost finished all of the core masteries. Like, almost all of them are done now.
I assume I'm done, but I can't think what...
I don't have the legendary ones done.
What are those?
The legendary collection ones.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
I wasn't motivated to work on them primarily, so I haven't I haven't worked on those.
Hmm.
I mean, my list is not very impressive.
Mine's
But
not super
considering
impressive.
I mean, I wasn't playing for probably 3 months out
You
of the
were
year.
creating a human being.
Well, more like when I was caring for the human being.
But still.
Right. So, I feel fairly good about where I've left this year as far as stuff done.
All the done.
All the done. I feel like we could talk about all of the other stuff that happened in-game this year, but we really should just do the best of.
Best of. Yeah.
Because that's what the good people pay their $0 for this podcast. Best of summaries.
I pay the $0.
Yes.
Actually, I thought of something else that could be put into here as well, like getting new maps. I didn't actually
That is so you.
What, just adding something I didn't include?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remembered something I did in game, and we're in Tales of Tyria.
Yeah. Yeah, that's never going to change, really. That's
No, that's not.
I might actually still think of something for the what we actually remember doing this year. Let's be honest, it may happen. So, for the ones I actually did write down, some of the best parts of Guild Wars 2 from 2016 for me was actually something that I thought of on the cuff when we were doing the co-cast with Relics of Ore, which was the salvage all / consume all features that we got, which
Yes.
And everyone was like, oh, like,
why didn't I think of that?
It's like, it's such a throwaway thing, but not.
Yeah, it's huge.
So nice. And even though I talked about it recently, I still clicked through a bazillion drinks one time before realizing that there was the consume all for the drinks. Mm-hmm. I did almost a full stack manually.
Oh, wow.
And then went, oh, I'm special. Can't believe I did this. I will say I would like an open all feature for packages.
Ooh, that would get so messy, though.
But realistically, all it would need to do is, okay, we can only open this many because you don't have enough bag space for everything. Mm-hmm. Right? And then you'd salvage and you continue along. Right?
Yeah.
It's like when you are trying to open all your bags or all your treats, what have you, and if it gets to the point where you run out of space, it won't let you open anything anymore. So it already has that you be full, you can't do stuff feature written into the code. And all they have to do is flip the switch, Celeste.
Oh, yeah.
And make this that you can have an open all feature.
Well, then I get to have my pantry.
No.
That everybody thinks is apparently crazy. Everybody being you and Hunter. And I had so many people message me saying how freaking amazing that would be.
I don't think it would be bad. I just don't. Yeah, okay, fine. Because it's the last show, I agree with you. It'd be awesome. We should totally have that.
Yay! You may continue.
Thank you. I also am very thankful for gliding everywhere option. I mean, with the notable exceptions that we've talked about previously on the show.
Yes.
And one of the best parts for Guild Wars 2 is sort of related but separate from the game. I got to meet Jalinar, World of Enders, and Age Night Road in person, and I'm coming for you next, Celeste.
Woo!
Or you're coming to me, one of the two.
One of the two.
One of the two. We will meet someday.
Someday. It's gonna happen.
It feels like at this part we'd break into song.
I'm coming for you.
I can't continue because I apparently sound like Leonard Cohen. And since he's passed away, that would be Maudlin.
It would.
But yeah, anyway, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed meeting all three of them individually, not all at once. They never met each other. The three of them live in the same city, and I don't think they'd ever met.
Oh, wow. Jeez, guys. They should go have coffee.
There was a Twitter thread, basically, amongst a few of them that said, like, man, we live in the same city and we've never even met. So, I'm sure there's probably more, but that's what's jumped. Actually, you know what? I am adding something else.
Okay.
Friends.
Friends.
In-game friends.
Absolutely. I don't know why that feels like such a downer, but it's true.
Super friends.
Super friends. Super friends in-game.
Shape of a mesmer. Form of. So it was the best part of Guild Wars 2 in 2016 for you, Celeste.
Gliding. It is something that I literally cannot not do now.
Yes. Even if it's a small hollow in the ground.
Right?
Woo!
Exactly. That's what happens. And then I go into a story instance or, falling damage. What?
Yeah, you want it removed from the game.
I did. I said a couple of weeks ago, they should just take falling damage out. I mean, that's silly.
Remember when it would also destroy your armor?
Uh-huh.
At least it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just something that's so intrinsically a part of the world now that I couldn't go back to where it was disabled.
You know what? Actually, I would say that is the singular change to the game. And it's weird because you think about there are people who don't have it. Like,
Yeah.
if they have the base game, they've not bought Hot, or they're in the free-to-play, and it feels like such an integral part of the game now. It's weird to think, feel bad because it's two-tier, really.
Yeah.
But
it is.
But the game is free to play, or you buy the game and you get access to being able to glide. And anyone, I would say the gliding's worth it. Everyone.
It really is. That in the living world.
Yes, but also gliding. If it's on sale and if you're able to, and you're at all wondering whether it's worth to pony up the dough, gliding alone is worth it.
Mm-hmm. It is. It makes life so much more interesting.
And also, it's going to be painful initially because you only get a certain amount of time that you're able to stay aloft. However, as you progress your gliding skill, you can basically, as long as there's no ground under you, you can glide.
Yeah, advanced gliding is the
Biggity
best
bomb.
thing to ever happen to gliding.
Actually, you know what? I might add on to that the aerial attacks that are in Bloodstone Fen, because I love those a lot.
I like those a lot too, and sometimes I'm going through an area gliding and I'm going, dang it.
I wish I could attack Death from above.
Yeah.
Love that.
I miss that. When I'm not in Bloodstone.
We should do a Bloodstone Fen night.
We shall.
Okay.
I also believe that moving the compact button from the very top of the inventory next to deposit all was a very big boon to the game.
Yes, 100% absolutely agree, and thank you, Aurora Peachy, for having a freak out about it.
Yes, because if she hadn't, I'm not sure it would have gotten done.
One, it was a well-earned frustration. Two,
Yes.
It was highly entertainingly made.
Indeed.
Like, just I have to do this every single time. Even with the change made, I will sometimes watch that video because it makes me happy, because me. And it makes me very happy. So, yay! I am very happy that has changed.
And that's for everybody, not just Heart of Thorn owners.
Yes.
So that's
Yes. Yeah, the ones that affect everyone that we can all agree on is the salvage all, consume all, and the compact button being moved.
Yes. That's good for everybody.
It is good for everybody. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Now that it's in game.
Yes. For everyone.
we've come to the end of the show, of the final episode of Guild Wars Reporter, and we do want to thank all of our impromptu co-hosts, people that we tapped on the shoulder about an hour before show and said, hey, come do a show with me, which is a thing that actually happened a couple of times.
More than a couple, in the case of Hunter.
Hunter. Also Ultra, who managed to approach us with a segment, start it, complete all of the show notes for it, and then come on the show and do it with us, which was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Surviving the Miss was a gap in our knowledge, for lack of another word.
Just like rating is for me now.
Yeah. Well, kind of me too. I'm along for the ride, but I don't necessarily understand it super well. And also for Clouded for picking up the Surviving the Miss mental for a time.
Mm-hmm.
And he co-hosted a couple times as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed.
Very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Chris and Bill were on the show with us this year.
They took over.
They took over a show this year.
Thankfully.
Very much so, because it was a bad week. And we truly do appreciate all the people who have come on the show and assisted and reined us in and...
Been part of the family.
Been part of the family.
Been part of the family.
The family.
The family. They can
Say
never
that much
leave.
better.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at the mob voice, apparently.
And Leonard Cohen.
And Leonard Cohen.
There was also the amazing segment of 5-on-5 with Kit the Traveler, Malibu Barbie. We had Screenager for Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And MO Inks, who also was our final 5-on-5 guest.
Yeah,
unknowingly.
We kind of knew.
We knew, but...
We knew.
Yeah.
Malibu Barbie was for...
Pink Day in LA.
Pink Day in LA, and
Toga.
Toga, yes. Mm-hmm. And just all sorts of... I would have to say, not being able to feature more community members in the future is a little bit of a regret of mine for stopping Guild Wars Reporter, because everyone, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many people who do such amazing work for Guild Wars 2 as community members that,
yes,
like, this is by no means it. There's tons of people.
A smattering at best.
Yes. So, but thank you to the four of them for joining us on our show.
We also got to guest and co-cast and stream with a bunch of other fantastic content creators, and Relics of War and Shadow the Dragon are just a couple of the people creating so many wonderful things for the community.
And arguably more knowledgeable about the game.
They are.
Not even arguably. They're more knowledgeable about the game than we are. And had a lot of fun playing in-game with them, doing shows with them, like, just, yes. So Relics of War and Shadow of the Dragon, if you've not listened to them before, do so.
Please do so.
Please do so. And there are a ton of other podcasts out there that we may not necessarily have interacted with, but I encourage anyone who loves playing Guild Wars 2 to actively seek out... I'm going to single out audio-only podcasts because, this is what we do. And I think there's still a place for them.
I think so too. Definitely.
There's a lot out there. I might start a list and include it somewhere.
Sounds good. And of course, I can't possibly cut this off without thanking Allona, who's been just the most amazing friend.
Yay! At least I make it flippant.
The amazingly attractive, alluring, adorable, amenable, some other A words.
A-hole.
No.
On occasion.
Allona. My girl.
Oh, Celeste, you're the best. And
thank you.
I actually have to say...
You don't have to say it.
I have to say, I think one of the upsides of not continuing Guild Wars Reporter is that you're going to have more time to play in game, and I'll have more ability to play the actual game with you.
That would be nice.
Yes.
I hope so.
That being said, I think we're going to see a lot more of each other.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So on that note, we do appreciate you downloading the show.
Even though you think that the last one was the last one.
Even though you all seem to think that the last one was the last one.
We apparently were not very clear.
No, not at all. We hope that you enjoyed the show, and we hope to see you in game. That's like complete opposite of what everybody wanted.
And the complete opposite of what happened.
Exactly.
But he's not here to defend himself, so we probably
Yeah, it's not exactly fair. See, Hunter, we can be fair. I'm going to put this at the end for the bloopers.
We can be fair. Although if you're putting it in for the bloopers, kind of defeats the purpose of like, it seems like the classy thing would be not to say anything.
That's kind of the point. Classy for the people who don't listen all the way to the end.
Yeah. I feel like there should be like epic music after that though.
I can put that in post.
You can.
That's gonna happen. So I'm gonna cough now.
Well, I'm gonna drink some of my beverage. My fruit juice.
Ugh. Okay.
I don't know why I said it like I was saying it in a different language. When it was clearly
Fruit
English.
juice.
Ish.
Ish. English-ish. Not gonna cry.
Okay. Do you want me to do this part? I won't.
I know you won't cry. It's not your baby.
Show me a commercial and I'll bawl, though.
I know. You goddamn monster.
I can hold it in for actual important things, like nobody's business. Things that don't mean anything, mushball. Do. I had to.
What?
I had to do the do.
Oh, okay.
Like you're like, well, of course you do. Like it's not even a question.
No, you always do it.